Hello YouTube, it's Little Derek Comics back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about three things that I would like to add to Marvel Rivals. So, quick disclaimer before we get started, this isn't anything along the lines of, fix the matchmaking or any characters that I'd like to be added. These are just things that I feel like could be added to help the game out and then breathe some new life into the game. So with that being said, if you want more Marvel Rivals content, go ahead and leave a like and let me know what changes you would make to the game down in the comments below. But be sure to stay tuned until the end because the last one is going to be a real game changer, so be sure to stick around. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the first thing, and I'm going to call this preferred players, right? So what would be preferred players? This would basically work kind of the opposite of how avoiding players work. So if you don't know, avoid players basically lets you not get matched up with a player for 3 days, pretty much. I think we should have the opposite end of that to where if you like a certain player or maybe certain players, you could add them to your preferred players list. And then it'll make you more likely to match up with those players. And you might say, oh, well, you could just add those players as friends, but that's a little bit different. I think that, a lot of the time when you add a friend, it might be hard to catch them online, or you might not know when they're online. They might be in the middle of a match. And some people don't really want to add people that they don't know like that. A lot of people don't play with comms. So, it would be hard to actually add them as a friend and connect with them and talk with them and everything like that. But if you're just more likely to match up with them, especially if they allow you to add a good bit of players to it, then you'll have kind of this community of people that you see a lot of the time. You'd be like, oh, this is so and so, and oh, I've matched with this dude before. It'll be cool. I feel like it'll help the community aspect a lot because players you see a lot and they'll know you, and then you have that familiarity. You're excited to play the match with them, and also I think it should be independent of friends, just because your friends might suck. You might not always want to play with your friends. You might want to be matched with people who are more likely to rank up with you, and your friends might be at a different rank. So this will allow you to also match with those who are in a similar rank to you and everything like that. Because I know there was this one time where we were finna run a match. The match got canceled, and we got back with like the same team, and we were all kind of excited. We probably got blown out. I don't remember the outcome, but I think this would just be good to breathe new life into the game and then just build up a community. And I also think it would be cool if this was maybe a two-way thing. So, you might add the player to your list, but maybe it'll only work if they also add you to their preferred players list. So that way, you're not getting a scrub who likes you, but you don't like the scrub. I think that would be cool. I think this would just be a fun new way to not get matched up with somebody that you don't like, especially in addition to the avoid players system. So this is one thing that I like to see. And now the next thing I'm going to talk about is more of a quality of life sort of thing. I would like to see costume icons. So, we have regular icons, we have Lord icons. I think it would also be cool if each character had an icon specific to the costume that you're going to wear. And this is for a few reasons. A little bit of it is just diversity. You have accessories and things like that. You have different costumes, and it would be cool for, people to see that you have this different costume. But it's also cool for like team synergy and things like that. If you want to match with your teammates or just have a color kind of cohesive across the board, especially in this season where we have a lot of Venom skins and just symbiote skins and Phoenix skins. I think this would be really cool across the board if you had maybe a Venom themed team, or if you had maybe a team that wears a lot of red. It would be really nice. And then I feel like it would also help sell the costumes too, right? Because if I'm, say, Invisible Woman, and I see that there's like Fantastic Four or a few Fantastic Four members, say Invis and Mr. Fantastic. I could, if I see the Mr. Fantastic has the wedding outfit and I have it, I can go to the wedding outfit. if I see that he has like future foundations, I could do that. Or if it's like the new first steps outfit, that would entice me to buy more of those so that I could match with my team. And I think that would just be great for teams overall. It would make it so cool to see a team rocking certain fits against another team rocking certain fits. And I know it's probably going to be hard to have like the avatars have a Lord icon and a regular icon for each specific outfit. So it might not even need to be an icon per se. It could just be some form of notification that, hey, say I'm Penny Parker and I'm wearing like the blue tarantula fit, or I'm Hulk with the Hellfire Gala, the Joe Fix-It, or the punk rock outfit, something like that, something to indicate that, or maybe even like a request option, like how you can request certain characters, maybe request certain outfits, something like that. Or you could literally just have it so that you can change outfits in the middle of the match. But I think this would be a more in-depth way to do it. And lastly, the last thing that I want to talk about that I think would just shake up the game and make it so much better are preferred team ups. So, what do I mean by preferred team ups? Well, a lot of the time we'll get new team ups and they'll scrap the old ones. And that has been good for keeping the game fresh, but it's also caused a few problems. So I think they should bring back the old team ups, or at least some of them, and then give you the option to choose between team ups. So say I'm Magneto, right? Perfect example. And I have an Emma on my team and I also have a Scarlet Witch on my team. I think it would be cool that I could pick between either one, because usually for these team ups, you only have so many buttons that you could bind, especially on console. I don't know if it's slightly different on PC, but you only have so many buttons that you can bind on your controller. So if you have two different team ups, it's not going to work like that. I can't pull out my blade and then also do and then that would just be kind of broken for me to get the long sword and the clones on top of it. So I think it would be cool if you could pick which one you want in match, or even if that's a bit too much, having it pre-selected so that in the event that you do have both team ups available, that you automatically go to say either the Scarlet Witch one or the Emma one, whichever you feel better with. So, you might not be able to choose in the match, but it's something that you pre-selected before it started. So if you get one or the other, then you could use one or the other. You have both options, but if you have both on your team, then it'll automatically give you one or the other. And I think that would be amazing. It'll help people to choose more characters, get good with different attributes, get good with different team ups, and it would just make the game so much more vast. Imagine if you have a Magneto with the long sword going against Magneto with the clones. That's pretty cool, dude. It's like kind of an offense, defense kind of thing. And not only that, but it would just help a lot of like different roles, like especially tanks. This would help tanks especially because think about season 0. You got a lot of double tanks going, as you should. You have 2 tanks. And what would be the 2 tanks you usually saw? I would say Hulk and Strange. I would say sometimes you would get Penny Venom, and you get Thor, Captain America. Am I missing somebody? You would get those team ups, and you will not get those anymore. And heck, you don't even see as much Magneto half the time, because usually if you're using Magneto now, it's not for the team up. You're using Magneto to Magneto or solo tank. And if you were to bring back the old team up, say you have Magneto and you have Strange and you have a Scarlet Witch, now you have 2 different team ups to work with. So with Magneto and Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, now you have 2 tanks. You have a reason to have 2 tanks again. And say if you're Penny is another good situation. If you don't have the Rocket team up, say Rocket gets banned, because as I'm probably going to mention later, he would get banned most certainly in this situation. But say you're Penny and you don't have the Rocket team up, well, now you still have the Venom team up. And that's a really good team up. I would say the nests are better overall, but in terms of survivability, that team up was insane. Even after it got nerfed, Penny being able to survive anything for like a couple seconds was insane. So I think, and then people switch in the middle of the match. So if one character switched and you don't have the team up anymore, you could have another team up with somebody else. I think this would be good for so many people, especially tanks, but even outside of tanks. Say DPS, say somebody like Star-Lord. Imagine Star-Lord being able to get revived on top of having his teleport. That's insane. Imagine Loki with the Hela team up being able to be revived on top of having like the Mantis ability. And then Rocket is an especially good example because Rocket's new team up, he's the anchor. He doesn't, which he was technically the anchor before, but this one doesn't have him binded to something, whereas the ammo overload or whatever it was called, he had to throw that out. You had to bind a button to that. And now with the mine revive thing, that's just his normal BRB. It's just upgraded, but there's no bind to it. So you could theoretically have that upgrade and then throw out the infinite ammo. Now that might be a little unfair, so I could see them having it so that you could only have one or the other, but both would still be good. Or maybe you have the infinite ammo and you don't have the mines on the BRB, but Penny still gets the team up. I think all of that could be cool. And I will say, not everybody needs this. I don't think that Iron Man needs the Gamma team up under any circumstances. He's good, and I think he's good with being the anchor. I think certain characters don't need it. Like, it would be cool if, say, Namor could get the ice team up again, but it's also cool if he doesn't. He's gonna get banned either way. So he was getting banned season 0 and season 1. He's getting banned now, so he's gonna get banned regardless. But I think this would benefit the tanks. It would add diversity and just make the matches more interesting because you see different forms of characters just do different things, and it makes you have to be good. And the team ups are the biggest part of this game. It's what sets it apart from, say, things like Overwatch or maybe, I don't know, Valorant or something like that. Any other shooter, you don't see people pick the team ups as much anymore because they aren't as interesting or they aren't as helpful. But this gives you more of a reason to have maybe a 2-2-2 or even a 3-tank situation. Like I said, this will really help the tank. So that's the last one that I thought of. But those are the 3 things that I would like to see added into this game. Let me know how you felt about it. Which one was your favorite? Did you like all of them? Did you dislike all of them? And let me know what changes you would like to see, like I said in the beginning of the video. And hey, I'll probably include them in another video that I make. So let me know all of that in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. But with that, I am out. Peace.